All right. Why is it that when we have a leader that thinks good about Africa or that fight for a good cause in Africa, he will be labeled a dictator or he will be labeled a tyrant? Why is it like that? Whenever we have a leader that thinks about African progress or thinks about how Africans can be united or about how Africa can be progressed, he will be labeled automatically a dictator or he will be labeled a tyrant by the Western leaders. Why is it like that? Why? Why is it that these Western leaders, these so-called United Nations or whatsoever they call them, AFRICOM, why is it that they are not seeing the real tyrants in Africa? I mean, the African tyrants, African leaders that are tyrants. Why is it that they are not seeing them? Why are they keeping deaf ear like as if they are normal or they are not doing anything wrong? Why is it that the people like Ibrahim Traore has been tagged and labeled a dictator and a tyrant? I want to get to understand this. I'm being curious. I want to understand. I want to know why people like Gaddafi, people like Idi Amin, people like Kwame Nkrumah, people like Amilcar Cabral of Guinea-Bissau, people like Ibrahim Traore, people like Thomas Sankara, who have been labeled a dictator and a tyrant. And people like Museveni of Uganda, people like Paul Biya of Cameroon, people like Obiang of Equatorial Guinea are being celebrated by the Western leaders. Why is it like that? I want to get to understand, because anytime I come up here to tell you that the problem of Africa and the reason why Africa is lacking behind is because of these Western forces. Is because of the Western forces. They do not want to see Africa succeed because they understand the language. They understand that poverty is a weapon that they use to invade Africa. They used to invade Africa and deceive people. They subjected Africans into abject poverty because of their selfish reason, because of their selfish interest. They don't want Africa to succeed. They don't want Africans to enjoy the dividends of democracy, as they say that there is democracy in Africa. They will come up and tell you that Africans, there's nothing like colonialism in Africa. And I'm telling you here that every single African country is being colonized, apart from Ethiopia that was never being colonized before, but every single other African country in Africa is being colonized. Because why? You know why? What they are doing to us is, the more you look, the less you see. They will come every year, you come and celebrate independence. Meanwhile, you don't know what is going on the ground. With what happened in Burkina Faso, it's a clear message to every African, making us to understand that our continent is still under colonialism. We are still being holding hostage. Our leaders cannot make decisions on their own alone. Any African leader that wakes up to make decision on his own without consulting the Western powers, the Western forces, they will label him a dictator. We are seeing it broad daylight. We are seeing it clear. It is written boldly on the marble that Africa is being hostage till 2025. In 21st century, we are still under hostage. What happened in Burkina Faso is a clear indication. You can agree with me that a country with a large, quantity of gold that produces, fourth largest African producing gold, fourth African gold producing country in Africa. You understand? Gold also a large quantity of gold every year, and this country only earns 20% of their resources. And I keep asking, why is it that a country like Burkina Faso earning 20% of their resources after having their independence? French government president is still in Burkina Faso, and the people managing the mining sites in Burkina Faso are Canadian companies, mining companies, and French mining companies. And these companies only give back to the people of Burkina Faso 20% of their resources. Why is it like that? Why is it that French government was still in charge of their military, taking charge of military bases in Burkina Faso, in Senegal, in Mali, in Niger Republic, in Chad, in Gabon, in Cameroon, in Guinea-Conakry? All these French countries were being colonized and still under colonialism until this day that the people woke up, started to reclaiming back their country back from this French government. Not just only French government, even British government is still holding Nigeria hostage. That is the reason why Nigerian government cannot make a decision without going to seek approval from their superior authorities, which is the British government. You can imagine we are still under colonialism. That is why Africa can never be developed. With the tip of what is going on in Burkina Faso, you can now get to understand that we have everything we have all the mineral resources that will develop Africa, make Africa a great continent. Look at, after 2 years of Ibrahim Traore taking over power in Burkina Faso, look at the achievement of Ibrahim Traore. Look at the milestone. Look at how far you have gone in leadership in Burkina Faso, giving back the dividends of democracy to his people, building the necessary infrastructures, putting things in place, and making sure that there is tight security in Ouagadougou and all across Burkina Faso. Before Ibrahim Traore emerged, there was high level of insecurity in the northern part of Burkina Faso. Terrorists were killing people, and there was a lot of bloodshed in Burkina Faso. But since Ibrahim Traore came on board, you can understand and agree with me that the high level of insecurity in Burkina Faso reduced. So it means that the insecurity in Africa is orchestrated. It's not just insecurity that just came up and blew up just like that. Somebody, some people somewhere orchestrated this and used this as a means of ripping Africa up. Ripping us off and taking our resources and exploiting our mineral resources out of Africa. You can agree with me that a continent that has large quantity of mineral resources, we do not have refineries. All our mineral resources were being exported out of our continent to refine outside our continent, creating job opportunities for their people outside. Meanwhile, our people are dying in abject poverty. Look around. You see, in Africa, we produce millions of graduates every year. Millions of graduates every year being produced, but at the end of the day, there is no job available for them. Meanwhile, we have resources that can create job opportunity for the youth. And you are complaining of insecurity. If you are complaining of insecurity without tackling the insecurity, the grassroots of the insecurity, you are wasting your time. If you want to tackle the insecurity in Africa, first of all, you will have to create job opportunity for the youth. That's number one. Number two, to build a conducive environment for Africans, to every African, you will have to tackle the insecurity by creating job opportunity for the youth. Making sure that you provide basic amenities, make people's life comfortable and easy. Entrepreneurs can be able to do their business without spending a lot and earning nothing. These people do not want anything good in Africa. I've said it time without number that we are lacking behind. Western leaders want to see Africa poor so that they can be taking advantage of our poverty. That is why they will be shipping in here dustbin in the name of used clothes, used electrical items, electrical appliances, used stuffs like that, shipping into Africa, knowing fully well that these things are trash in their country. But because they see Africa as a country that we're living at the back of the world, they now feel comfortable to ship these things into our country, and our government will be accepting this kind of gift. I don't know if I'm to call it gift, because they look around, they don't know where to dump this dustbin. They feel like to dump these things in Africa. I don't know who did this to us, for crying out loud. Our leaders have failed us woefully. I don't know if I start narrating the whole thing, it will take me a long time. But sincerely speaking, we are still under colonialism. We are still being colonized. If anybody wake up in the morning and tell you that Africa is having their freedom, is a lie. We do not have our freedom. There is nothing like freedom in Africa. Since we cannot make decision of our own, we cannot take charge of our own resources. We cannot make decision of our own. Before you make any decision, you will have to go and take a permission from your colonial masters. Africa is a great continent. Africa is a blessed continent. That there is no, I've said it time without number, even on my live stream, there is no reason why any African child should go to bed with empty stomach. No reason. There is no reason why any African child should be out of school because of school fees. There's no reason. There is no reason why any African son or every African youth should jump Mediterranean Sea to cross to Europe for greener pasture. There is no reason. So these are the things that we are hammering on. We are shouting and clamoring for. We need a conducive environment. We need job creation in Africa. Most of the things that we consume in Africa here is all imported. And most of them are adulterated products that have been shipping into Africa, killing our people, causing, look at our, if you look around, you see kidney problems everywhere because of the things we eat in our mouth. We don't even know most of this, chicken that they bring to us, these imported chickens. You don't even know how, the injection this chicken took. This is the problem that we have. If our government can be able to utilize the money that we have, utilize our resources, using it to create job opportunities, build basic amenities that we need, pipe-borne water, good constant electricity, quality healthcare system, and as well, building quality educational system. At least you can be able to understand that we are far ahead of these people. We are far ahead of them. In Africa here, you will get to understand with me that we have very, amazing weather, amazing landscape, that we do not have even ordinary earthquake. We don't have any natural disaster in Africa. We don't have this landslide of a thing, a tornado and whatsoever. We are blessed. The problem that we have in Africa is bad leadership. But any leader that comes up to think good about Africa, to defend Africa, to make sure that we unite together, that leader becomes a target to the Westerners. They try to eliminate him at all costs, knowing fully well that he's trying to spoil the market for them. That is what they are trying to do to Ibrahim Traore, because Ibrahim Traore stood up for his people. It can either be if Ibrahim Traore is a selfish leader or a puppet like others. What we would have done is like call French government, tell them, come, let's negotiate. Let me leave power for you guys. You guys give me 10 billion, I will leave this power for you guys. You guys continue with what you are doing in Burkina Faso. He will take the money, take his family members and all the rest, travel to America or anywhere else that is of his choice. But he said no. He stayed back. He said, no, I will fight for my country, not just because of my selfish interest, but for the interest of the people of Burkina Faso. And he's doing amazingly well. Day before yesterday, Ibrahim Traore just commissioned, newly built, newly renovated stadium. You can imagine somebody that was left with nothing when he came to power. Nothing was on the cover, nothing. He made nothing on board. He started reclaiming the resources and reclaiming his country back. And at the end of the day, at the same time, with the heat that's coming from left and right center, he keep dishing out the dividends of democracy to his people, building constant electricity. As I'm talking to you, Ibrahim Traore is building power plants in Fada. That is a city, that's a province they call Fada in Burkina Faso. He's building power plants. Ibrahim Traore is building constant electricity, building roads, good access road networks. Building roads, innovating and building, government infrastructures and government buildings and all that. That is what they call a leader that is intentional, that wants the best for their people. It's not just all about embezzling the money, taking the money to the West, buying houses. You own houses. Like I said, the legacy you left on this world when you are dead will speak for you. If you leave the good legacy, your children will reap. If you leave the bad legacy, your children will also reap. The corruption, in fact, like I said, the corruption that we're talking about in Africa started from Nigeria. Nigeria is the king and how would I put it, the chamber of corruption in Africa. With whatever that is going on in Nigeria, Nigerians do not deserve the kind of leadership that we are having recently. We deserve people that want the best for ourselves, the people that will speak for us, people that will stand for us, people that will give us and make us to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Look at what Nigerians are suffering today. A rich country like Nigeria, one of the richest country on earth, is Nigeria. If you're counting the richest country on earth, if you never count Nigeria, you're not complete yet. And look at what Nigerians are going through. We have crude oil, we have mineral resources, we have crude oil. How much are we buying liter of petrol in Nigeria? How much is dollar today? How much is this? How much is that? How much is essential commodities? Everything is skyrocketing and nothing is being done. Insecurity everywhere. People are being killed left and center, right and center. People are being killed day in, day out. Fulani headsmen, ravaging, on rampage, killing people, and nothing is being done. This is not the Africa that we are dreaming of. We want Africa where we will be comfortable and be proud of. We want Africa where our children will grow up and we'll be proud to tell them, yeah, we fought a good fight. And this is where we are. Our children will say, yes, you guys fought a good fight. We need a conducive environment in Africa. We need to reclaim our continent back. Every country that is having an election in nearest future, like Nigeria, Cameroon, Uganda, and all the rest, the youth, my message to you is to wake up. Wake up. Let's reclaim our countries back from these criminals in power. Let's reclaim our country back from this puppet, Western puppet. Let's reclaim our countries back from these wicked leaders that we call. Let's reclaim our country. Let's do what Senegalese did in the pool. Revolution is not just all about carrying gun, killing people, bloodshed. No, that is not all about revolution. Revolution is go and learn from Senegal what Senegalese did. They reclaimed their country. Diomaye Faye and Ousmane Sonko is doing well. Today, Macky Sall is nowhere to be found. His party is nowhere to be found. That is what we want in every other African country, and we must do so that we can be able to be proud of our continent. Thank you very much. See you guys in the next one.